to Study Time, a televised home learning program produced by Rwanda Education Board.
Hello students, welcome to the TV learning programs, and in this program you're going to be watching the TV as well as you're learning. As usual, I'm teacher Hubert, who is going to be taking you through the biology of Senior 6, which is concerning about circulatory system. It is Unit 4. So let's have the lesson of today. It is biology 6, Unit 4, which is concerning about circulatory system. So before we start our lesson of today, I know some of you have knowledge about the circulatory system. You discussed it in Senior 3. You know what is it concerned about. So we are starting our lesson. I remind you to take your exercise books, your pens, and notebooks, and you note some important information. For those who have textbooks, you can check on some on page Senior 6 biology, page 83 up to 87. So let us start our lesson, but I remind you, you're in holidays. You're not in holidays. You have to make your personal timetable, and you make revision so that you don't lag behind on the lesson. So that's what we're going to be discussing today in biology. The learning objectives. Learning objectives. Number 1, we have to know what is circulatory system. Number 1 is what is circulatory system. That is number 2. Objective number 2, why do we need to study? Why do you need circulatory system? Why do we need circulatory system? Objective number 3 is blood circulatory system in animals. The last one we're going to talk about, which is number 4, the structure. Talk about the structure of the heart. Let's take some minutes and think about what do you understand by circulatory system. What do you understand by circulatory system? Excellent. Let's talk about the definition. Here is the definition. You can say circulatory system is also sometimes called the cardiovascular system or the vascular system, in which the organ system that permits the blood to circulate. You can call it to be circulatory system. Is also called the cardiovascular system. Cardio, we talk about cardio, it means concerning about the structure of the heart. Cardiovascular or the vascular system. And you can say is also an organ that permits blood to saturate. Where does the blood has to saturate? The blood to saturate. Okay? The blood to saturate. So it means in our body, we need blood to saturate. But also we have to remind you that not only blood saturation appears in animals, we also have what you call the lymphatic system. What does the lymphatic system transport? It transports lymph fluids, which also transport some of the nutrients, all right? We can say all animals, except small animals or tiny animals, they need a circulatory system to transport substances from a cell to a cell. Because we know that the cell has to be provided with some of the nutrients, it has to be provided with oxygen, and also without forgetting that it also has to remove some waste products. Take an example, like carbon dioxide from it, nitrogenous waste product, if a cell is to survive. If a cell is not provided with oxygen and with nutrients, the cell will not survive. I said the transport system, it must be transporting some substances from a cell to cell within themselves. Let's think about the primer. What are the need? Why do we need a circulatory system? Why do we need a circulatory system, or why do we need a lymphatic system? In some of the insects, in some of the animals, why do we need circulatory system? Why do we need circulatory system? As I talked about, circulatory system transports blood, and why do we need a circulatory system? I can say there are a number of reasons that we need a circulatory system, and the primary task of the circulatory system is to deliver nutrients and oxygen. That is number one. Number one, you said, to deliver nutrients and oxygen to the body cells. That is number one. One of the tasks of a circulatory system is to deliver nutrients and oxygen to every cell. So the cell needs oxygen as well as the cells needs nutrients for it to survive. Number two, we can talk about we need circulatory system to remove waste products from the body. Because if these waste products are not removed from the body, they can affect our body metabolism. Examples of the waste product needed to be removed from the body, we can talk about the carbon dioxide, e.g., we can talk about carbon dioxide, we talk about nitrogenous waste products. Because once this one accumulates in the blood, they have to be detected by what you call osmoregulating detectors. And after they are detected, they have to be removed. All right. We also need, we can say, this is why do these needs the nutrients and they need oxygen. We say this is because muscle needs anonymous quantities. You can say they need nutrients, they need oxygen, because muscles, they need anonymous quantities of nutrients and oxygen for getting what you call for generating energy. And that energy is going to be used for removing waste products as well as transporting nutrients to different body cells. Therefore, those are the reasons why we need a circulatory system. We said we need a circulatory system to transport nutrients and oxygen to different body cells, so that, because we say that these muscles, our muscles, need anonymous quantities of oxygen and nutrients for it to help us to generate energy to be used for doing work. Therefore, I can say, circulatory system in animals is very important for transportation of food. I can talk about food. If I say food, I mean nutrients, as well as, and also it is an essential substance for distribution of energy production and removing of waste product from our body. So simply, I can make it a summary of it. Transportation of nutrients, that's why you need a circulatory system. Second, we need a circulatory system purposely to remove waste products from our body. Third, we can also need a circulatory system for transportation of oxygen. That's why we say circulatory system is very important. Let me talk about in animals, there are two types of circulatory system. These are mainly the open circulatory system and the closed circulatory system. I said in animals, most of the animals, they contain two types of circulatory system. Think about it, and then you tell me those two types of circulatory system. I said in animals we have number one, which is open circulatory system. Number two is closed circulatory system. All right? So, we can start by saying what is an open circulatory system. You can say open circulatory system is a type of circulatory system in which the blood is in direct contact with the cells. You can say open circulatory system is a type of saturation, of circulatory, in which the blood is direct contact with the body cells, with the body cells. So it means that the blood and the body cells, they are in contact. They are together. So we don't have what you call the blood vessels. All right? You can say the blood can stay inside the vessels all the time because it is open-ended. So the blood has to stay inside the vessels because, no, the blood does not stay inside the vessels. The blood does not stay inside the vessels because it is open-ended. Instead, the blood is pumped by the specialized organ. Take an example. And other pumping organs to the spaces which are called the hemocoel. You can take a note about that. You can say instead the blood is pumped out of the vessels by the heart or other pumping, you can add of other pumping organs. If I say pumping organs, I mean the other pumping organs apart from the heart, other pumping organs, into a space within the body, known as hemocoel. So those spaces, they are called hemocoel. You have to underline, take a note of that vocabulary, which is called hemocoel. It is an important vocabulary, so it means the blood passes in two spaces that are found in the body, which are called hemocoel. So this means that the blood is in direct contact. The blood is in direct contact with the body cells. We can have examples of these organs that has what we call open circulatory. Examples of organs that possesses open circulatory system. We have the crustaceans. Good. We have crustaceans. We have insects. We have mollusks. These mollusks and other invertebrates. I say invertebrates, it means animals without backbones. So examples of animals that possesses what you call open circulatory system, we can talk about the crustaceans, the insects, the mollusks, and even other invertebrates. They possess what you call open circulatory system. Take a note about that one, and I can also mention that these insects, they don't contain blood. Okay? They have what you call a colorless liquid possessing what you call amoeboid lymphocytes. I can say they are called amoeboid lymphocytes, which is not hemoglobin. So it means the color that's found in insects, because most of the insects, they don't have blood, because most of the time they normally transport their nutrients and oxygen by using what you call lymph fluid, and most of the time it is colorless. Let's talk about now closed circulatory system. What is closed circulatory system? Closed circulatory system. If I say closed circulatory system, you can say this is a type of circulatory system in which the blood remains enclosed in a system of vessels. And take a note about this. This is a system. This is a circulatory system, not a system. This is a circulatory system. The circulatory system in which the blood remains enclosed. That's supposed to be enclosed in the system of vessels. In the system of vessels. So, meaning that the blood is not in contact with the body cells. The blood is enclosed in blood vessels. Okay? And you can say, this means that it saturates within the vessel. The blood has to saturate within the vessels, not being in contact with the body cells. All right? I can say, and this one is normally aided, the saturation must be aided by pumping organs. Example, we must be having the heart. We must be having what we call blood vessels that enables to transport the blood. Take a note about this. You can say it saturates within the vessels due to the pumping actions of the heart, which is a part of the circulatory system. In this way, waste substances leaves the cells. Oxygen and nutrients enters into the cells. All right. Quickly, let's talk about the advantages of circulatory system or closed circulatory system over open circulatory system. You can say one of the advantages of closed circulatory system over open circulatory system, we have a number of them. Number one, it helps control the distribution of different substances in different parts of the body. Number two, the blood is fairer, moving with high pressure in closed circulatory system compared to the open circulatory system. You can also say that it allows for the control over oxygen distribution or oxygen delivery. It has a control of controlling how oxygen is delivered to different parts of the body. So for the case of closed circulatory system, the system has a control. It has control over the delivering of oxygen to different parts of the body. We can also talk about systemic and pulmonary branches that maintains a respective pressure within the heart. Under this closed circulatory system, we have two types. We have two types of this. Under this, we have number one is called single saturation. Number one, there are two types of closed circulatory. Number one is single saturation. And number two is what we call double saturation. What does it mean? It means single saturation. The blood has to move once before being pumped to the body. It means the blood comes from the heart. From the heart, it goes to the lungs. Then from the lungs, it is distributed or it is transported to different parts of the body, to the rest parts of the body. I mean to the arms, to the head, legs, and etc. This is supposed to be the blood has to move once. A complete moves once for the blood to be distributed to different parts of the body. We talk about double saturation. The blood has to move twice into the heart before being pumped to the body. I can give an example. Let me say this is A, and I say V. Here, I can just have a diagram like that. This is, I just divide it because the structure of the heart is divided into 4 chambers. I have this one and this one. This one and this one. Then, we can have this one. This is the blood comes from the, this is supposed to be the rest parts of the body parts. Alright? We have the lungs here. The blood comes from the atrium, comes from the vein cava to the atrium. From the atrium, it goes to the lungs. Then from the lungs comes to the heart. Then from the heart, the blood goes to this one, to the ventricle. Then from the ventricle, the blood has to move to the body parts. All right? So it means that I can just make a summary of it. You can say from the vein cava to the right atrium, from the right atrium to the right ventricle, from the right ventricle it is carried to the body, to the lungs to be oxygenated, where the lungs is rich in oxygen. It is carried by pulmonary artery. Then from pulmonary artery, it comes back to the body through what you call a pulmonary vein. And you know that most of the artery carry oxygenated blood except pulmonary artery. From there, it comes back to it is going to different body parts through what you call, from there, pulmonary vein, then to the left atrium, from the left atrium to the left ventricle, then from the left ventricle to aorta, and aorta is an artery which will carry the blood to different parts of the body. Good. Let's look at the differences now about comparison between open circulatory system. Present in annelids and vertebrates. Present in vertebrates. Blood does not bathe the cells. Bathing the cells, the blood does not bathe the cell because it is not in contact with them. But here the blood is directly bathed by the cells. There is a muscular heart which pumps the blood to different parts of the body. Here we say there is no muscular heart, but noticed as a simple heart. Number 4, we can say there is a high blood pressure. Here we can consider it to be having low blood pressure. Talk about blood contains hemoglobin. I said this one there is no hemoglobin. The blood is colorless. Examples of the closed circulatory system, we have the earthworms, fish, frog, human beings, and etc. and etc. Examples of single saturation is supposed to be example of single saturation. Yes, we have this one. This is supposed to be insects and arachnids and etc. Can call it to be not. This is quite something which is we have to correct it. This is call it to be this as open saturation. Open saturation. The heart is a muscular organ about the size of your fist and lies inside the chest. Is in the chest cavity between the lungs. Internally, the heart is surrounded by a tough membrane, which is called pericardium. Pericardium, these are tough membranes that surround the structure of the heart. These pericardium are very important because they cover, I can say, this is the structure of the heart, the internal structure of the heart. The internal structure of the heart contains what you call a membrane, which is called pericardium membrane, which covers the heart and it covers and protects the internal structures of the heart. You can also talk about that it protects. The heart is divided into two sides. We have the right side and the left side. As you can see, this is supposed to be, it is made up of very many parts. We have internal parts, our internal anatomy of the heart. So it is divided into two sides. We have the left side and we also have the right side. And I said that the heart is also divided but these two sides are normally separated by a membrane which is called septum. And the septum is very important for preventing the mixing of the blood of the right side with the blood on the left side. So that's why I'm saying that the heart is divided into two sides, the left and right side, which are completely separated by a membrane which is called the septum. And septum prevents the blood from the right side from mixing with that of the left side. So meaning the septum membrane is very important in preventing the blood from mixing. You can also say that the heart is made up of special muscles. These special muscles of the heart are called cardiac muscles. And these muscles, they are special in two ways. If I say those cardiac muscles, these muscles, they are special in two ways. One, the muscles of the heart, they contract continuously without getting fatigue. So these muscles, they contract without getting fatigue. They keep contracting. And I can say in biology, if I say these muscles, they have special ways, the muscles of the heart are quite different from the muscles of your legs, muscles found in the legs, muscles found in the intestines, muscles found in the arms. Because these muscles, they continuously keep contracting and they don't get fatigue. All right? And that's why you talk about what you call a diastole and systole. In biology, if I say diastole, it means contraction of the muscles of the heart. Then diastole, it refers to the relaxation of the muscles of the heart. Then systole means contraction of the muscles of the heart. So the muscles of the heart has got special organs of pumping the blood to different parts of the body, to the lungs to be oxygenated, as well as bringing the blood from the lungs to the heart. So the heart has to contract and relax. What I said, contraction means systole, then relaxation means the diastole. All right. So our muscles of the heart, they don't get fatigued. They continuously contract. Therefore, they beat for a lifetime. If I say a lifetime, you are born, the muscles of the heart are continuously beating and supplying the blood to the lungs and to the rest parts of the body. That's why lifetime without taking rest. The muscles, up to now, I'm talking and I'm explaining about how these muscles contract. But they don't stop. They will continue supplying blood to the lungs and to the rest parts of the body till all your lifetime when you are still alive. Another special thing that makes the muscles of the heart be special, the cardiac muscles is also called what you call myogenic. If I say myogenic, which means that the contractions are started by the muscles of the heart itself, not by being stimulated by the nerve cells. All right? That's why I'm saying that one who said the muscles of the heart has to contract in your lifetime without being stopping. And you can also say that the muscles of the heart are myogenic. If I say myogenic, it means that the contraction are started by the muscles itself and not by the nerves. In case, take an example, in some of the animals, the muscles, in some of the muscle tissues, they have to contract because of stimulation of the nerve cells. Take an example, our nerves have to contract because there is stimulation of the nerve cells. So, right? So, I think I'll also inform you to go and make more research about the differences between a single saturation and a double saturation. So, thank you for being with me in my lesson. I'll be with you in the next lesson, and I mend you bye to see you next time.